Requirements elicitation using Alice Bot, a BA assistant. This is our first AI-inspired module in the modern requirements for TFS suite. Alice provides a framework which can be used for requirements elicitation. It provides not only a technique, but a tool where questions can be asked. And based on questions where you might have multiple answers, subsequent questions can be asked, and then follow-on questions based on those answers. And thereby, you are using this tool to decompose and elaborate on your higher level answers, which becomes requirements. In Alice, we'll take a look at how you can start with the conversation. We'll take a look at how Alice could be used with voice activation. We'll look at explaining the backlog, which is to say that a backlog is created based on your Q&A with Alice, which is a hierarchy of requirements. We'll see how to delete an answer, how to resume the conversation from a point within the conversation tree, how we can change our answers so we can rename it, and we can also publish these as work items to TFS and VSTS. We'll look at scenarios and help as well. So let's begin by creating a conversation. In this conversation, we have to give it a name. So let's say I'm going to just call it admin. So we're going to talk about administration here. So the first thing Alice is asking me is, what solution domain should we work on? And in the watermark here, you can see it's saying we are trying to identify the epic here. So my epic here is going to be user admin. That's where we'll begin. And for user admin, it's asking what are the features for user admin? Well, we need to do user management perhaps to begin with. And we'll do rights management and other things later on. And now it's asking me, what are the requirements for user management? Well, we need the ability to add users. For whom is this user story for? Okay, so who's this? Because we're using Agile, it's talking about user story. So this is going to be used by the manager. Why does the user need add user? And the reason you need add user to, let's say, create a new account for the user. Are there any acceptance criteria? Yes, of course, the user account is created, and let's say the other one is the user is sent an email confirmation. So I've given it two answers. And now it's asking me, is there any other? Now you will note as it's asking me this on the right-hand side, it's telling me I've already given it two answers to this question before. So it's telling me not to repeat my answer. The other thing you will see is on the right-hand side, under the context tab, it's showing me the conversation thread. So it is this thread that this answer is really related to. This is my epic, this is my feature, my user story. Here I'm trying to get to the acceptance criteria for add user story. Okay, so this is very important. People tend to very quickly adjust their minds as to what's happening, but if you come back after a while or you get distracted, you tend to lose the trend of thought. This is showing you that. So I may say no. No, I don't. So now it's asking me, is there any other action for user management? So I want to be able to search user. And now it's interesting. It's asking me for whom is this user story for? Well, search user is for the manager, or is it for somebody else? It's telling me that there's a suggestion where I have identified who is going to use a previous user story. I could simply select it. Gives me consistency and reuse. And then it's asking why, so that the users can be found from the user list. And then what are the acceptance criteria? So if user is found, the user is shown. That's one acceptance criteria. If no user is found, then a message is shown accordingly. So is there any other acceptance criteria? It's asking me, it's again telling me there's a couple of things I've already said. So let's not reuse any of that. No. And now it's saying, is there any other action required? And I've done 2 already. Let's say, no, there isn't. Of course, we can go on for a while and complete our user management thing. So now it's asking, is there any other feature? Well, yes, there is. So we'll look at rights management. And it'll continue. Now, previously, for actions, I had given 2 actions. So it's saying, hey, they're already there. You can reuse it if you want because it's a suggestion. In our case, we don't want to reuse it. We'll type in whatever rights management would include. Right. Now, so in this way, the conversation continues. At any point in time, you can go to the backlog view, and you can see this is the hierarchy of answers I've gotten from here. So if you look at add user and saying create a new account for the user, so I want to change that. So I want to really call this the user is set up in the system. So I've changed the name. And as you change the name, the conversation gets updated as well. All right. So we've changed the name. The other thing you can do is you can go down here, and if you don't want this, you can actually delete that message. So you want to delete that part of the conversation tree, and you can get rid of it. You may also go, you might say, you know what? I want to resume from user admin and just do a resume. And so your conversation will resume now, right? So at this point in time, I'm going to go publish it. Now you will see that against these things, it's telling me that this is my epic, this is my feature, this is my user story. These 2 are going to be appended into the title of the user story. And these are my acceptance criteria. So it's showing me what information will go where. So let's go publish it to TFS. Now, when the publishing is done, first it will check it in for you automatically. In the backlog view, you will see that I have my user admin here, which is published. I have user management there, which has got a different ID, and then add user as a user story. Let's open up this work item and take a look at it. So my user story now says, as a manager, I can add user so that the user is set up in the system. Well, fantastic. That came out of a conversation. My 2 acceptance criteria got added here as well. Okay. You can see that the parent is user management, which is a feature. And if I go to the parent, I can see that user admin is my epic, which is its parent, and it's got 2 child user stories. So the hierarchy got created in TFS or VSTS, wherever you're using Alice. And so that's our conversation and the output of our conversation. What we have also done is we've identified scenarios where it actually finds all the pathways in our conversation and lists it here. Okay. So so all of them get listed here. And so if you just want to sort of itemize all the conversation paths, it's there. It's of nominal value right now. We are trying to figure out what can we do with this information. Some people want to create test cases from it. So that's something we're looking at. Under the Information Hub, it shows that I've been using this. That's my name. As other people come and interact with Alice and they provide answers, then their answers would get created. 16 questions were asked, or answered rather, and 13 work items were created based on this. Okay. Now, at any point in time, you can go to help, and in the help, you can ask for certain things. For example, you can say repeat, or you can say explain. What you can do is you can say, what do you mean? And it'll tell you what it means. So for example, if I go edit, and it's asking me this question, I say, what do you mean? And then so it's actually giving me a full description of that question. Now, the essential thing to note here is that there's the question, you can ask that it be explained to you. Secondly, the other thing you'll note is the watermark. The watermark is really helpful because this watermark is saying this is the second part, what, of the user story. So it says I can dash part. Okay. So there's multiple clues. If you decide to create your own Alice script, a conversation script, there you can define questions and dependent questions, explanations, watermark values, which work items and properties do answers map to, multiple choice questions, and so on and so forth. So the Alice conversation script is very extensive, and you can create your own conversation scripts so that you can cater to your business domain most effectively. Although the base product comes with an Alice script for a variety of different templates, which are CMMI, Agile, Scrum, BA Bach template, and so on. When you're done with the conversation and you want to sort of say, okay, you know what, I'm done with it for now, you can check it in, and now others can check it out and work on it. So that is Alice, and Alice provides a conversation pattern to elicit requirements in a predictable and a systematic way. You can use this on your own as you're thinking about your requirements, or you can give it to your end user to answer the questions, or you can take it to an elicitation session where you can project it on the wall and have everybody participate in a common conversation helped by Alice. So that's AliceBot. We are very excited about Alice, and hope you like it too. Have a wonderful day.